Okay, let's take a look now. We're talking about the Jazz Fest, and that continues. You've heard about the Jazz Fest.
The Xerox Rochester
You know all about
International
that?
Jazz
The Xerox
Festival.
Rochester International Jazz Fest. It is Zappa Plays Zappa tomorrow. The second Zappa in that title, of course, refers to the iconic Frank Zappa. The first one is in the title is his son, Dweezil, who'll be playing the music of his late father. I spoke to Dweezil about the show. He appeared on our primetime special about the festival, and this morning we have more of that interview. Hey, so awesome to talk to you, and welcome to Rochester. I'll give you the first welcome. I'm sure the folks from the Jazz Fest probably already said that, but it's great to know that you're coming to our city. Is this your first time here?
You know, it will be the first time that we're playing there, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. I know you've performed in other venues around the world, around the country. What did you hear about Rochester's Jazz Fest? I'm always curious to know, what it is that the artists heard about Rochester since the festival now, has been on for so many years and is starting to get a name for itself.
Well, when we are requested to play at certain venues and things, we don't really get that much background information. Sometimes we'll look it up and find out a little bit about the festival so we know about the history of things. Generally, a jazz festival is an interesting place for us to be able to come out and play because the nature of my father's music, there's so much variety in it. There is jazz, there are other elements as well. But I know that New York in particular, the whole state has always been a great place for people to enjoy my dad's music. They've supported it for many years. So to come to Rochester, play the Jazz Festival, and focus on some of those elements within my dad's music is something that we are looking forward to. And I know that the festival has been around and has been drawing, some diverse artists besides just jazz stuff. So it's, it's a good thing to be a part of.
It definitely does have a diverse group, and it attracts a diverse number of people from around the world. I love the fact that, here you are, you're your father's son, right? And you are paying homage to his music. His music is your music. Or would you say you retain elements of your dad's music, but you have your own distinct style?
Well, the thing is, in this project, Zappa Plays Zappa, the goal from the beginning was to be the conduit to a new generation, allow them to discover my father's music in a way that best represented what it really was, the composer's intent. So what I mean by that is that, if somebody's going to hear us play and they're way into the music, if they're going to then listen to my father's music, I want it to at least be, as close to what they're going to hear when they listen to the original records as possible. So we spent a lot of time on the details to get that stuff right, because there is no reason to modernize it or change it. It's to be celebrated as it was. My father's music is more akin to classical music than anything else. He has very strict compositions in a lot of ways, and to alter them or change them or modernize them is unnecessary, because they really are in many cases ahead of their time already.
Yeah.
And the music is still very contemporary, and so I don't usually try to put my own spin on it, although my own music has its own sound. I haven't spent a lot of time lately focusing so much on that, because it takes up so much time and effort to do Zappa Plays Zappa.
And we have more with Dweezil coming up just after 8, and my full conversation with him is now on 13wham.com. More now with my interview with Dweezil Zappa. The guitarist is playing the music of his father, Frank, tomorrow night as part of the Xerox Rochester International Jazz Festival. He's also into his own music, as he told me when he phoned our studios.
I think my interest in music at this point, is sort of along the lines of some cinematic elements. You know, I want to get into a place where I can explore some orchestral ideas that I have and play with some of the newfound skills that I've cultivated through playing my dad's music for these, you know, this past decade, really. And so, you know, eventually I'd like to, you know, maybe get into some film scoring and doing some other things that use music in a different way that's really not about, you know, pop music or selling records or things like that. It's just music for the sake of music.
Okay, that's really interesting. You know, to hear an artist say that's kind of what they would like to do. That's a direction in which they'd like to go. Because I mean, I'm certain there's a lot of people who are going to rediscover you. You know, people like myself who remember you from when you were only 17, and I can't believe you were only 17 when you were, you know, back in the 80s like that when you were on MTV. But here you are. You're still a young man. But you've got people, some young fans who are going to rediscover you. Are you going to stick around in the limelight long enough for them to you know, to be able to say, you know, I love Dweezil Zappa, I love his stuff, you know, whether it's on stage or in a movie?
Well, the thing that's interesting is this project. You know, we've consistently played, you know, about 60 to 80 shows a year for the past 5 or 6 years of doing this, you know, all over the world. And so more people have sort of discovered my style of guitar playing in these past 6 years than, you know, in the past 10, 12, 15 years prior. So there's a good chance that, you know, that will continue where the people that like what we're doing with Zappa Plays Zappa will have an interest in what I may do, you know, beyond Zappa Plays Zappa. So one of the things that we've also done is I've got a school that we created called Dweezil, which is a music boot camp, really. It's like a 4-day intensive thing where people can come and learn about different facets of music, technical elements, as well as all the kind of you know, rudimentary things that that are needed to be able to speak the language of music and whatnot. But it's a fun kind of thing to be able to do, to get with people that have an interest in music and want to explore and see how far they can take their own creativity. And we have within the band a lot of different perspectives, from the professional side of it all the way through the fundamental musical teaching and you know, theory side of it. So
you take music really seriously, it sounds like. It's not just, you know, strumming on a guitar, making, you know, that might people might be surprised to know you seem to be this free spirit, but with a very disciplined side.
Well, I mean, to do what we do and to play my father's music, it requires a lot of dedication and discipline. You know, you can't just go up there and pretend to do this stuff. It's just not possible. You know, you have to. Anything that we go out there and do, you know, we've worked really hard to make it happen. It's not like 4-chord rock songs. You know, there's some very, very difficult music. And that's just what's in my dad's music. I mean, he had a different approach. You know, that's one of the challenges to present this thing is that a lot of people think, oh, you know, I know what Frank Zappa is all about, and yet they don't. You know, they think, oh, he's the guy that wrote Valley Girl or Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, and they think that it's comedy music or something that is novelty music. And then you put the other side of it where it's like, oh, it's just a cover band playing novelty music. A lot of people have the wrong impression just because they make these generalizations.
And people will get a chance to hear you on June 26th at Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. Zappa Plays Zappa. Dweezil Zappa, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, no problem.
It's really
we'll
great talking to you. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you there.